Hello Raiders, this is Ezra and welcome back to my new account Bastion. I wanted to give an update today. I am aligning myself to the raid day, which is GMT based. It's 1700, so 5 p.m. Eastern time where I live, but I guess that makes it 5 plus 4, so 9 p.m. GMT, and I have gotten about everything done I wanted to get done today for my new account. I tried like you wouldn't believe to run out all my energy, but I've still got 263 energy left out of an 83 max, and managed to make it to level 24. I think the important thing here is got Kyle to 4-star rank and 3-star ascension. So that is to say 3 purple stars out of 4 possible stars. The important part being once you get Kyle to the 3rd level of ascension, his acid rain gets the 15% extra bonus for critical hits. Early in the game, you'll see right now, my critical rate is 45%. So the extra 15% would bring it to 60. It's a big deal. In Raid Shadow Legends, 100% crit rate is an intermediate goal that becomes really easy when you have access to 6-star gear. And achievable when you have 5-star gear, but when you're this early on, anything you can do to get extra crit rate is good. In late game, you will get crit damage gloves with crit rate substats. You'll still manage to make 100% crit rate, which gives you the extra bonus damage, but have a lot higher crit damage. The other thing is I am now level 24, so the highest level I can roll my gear is plus 8. At level 25, you can get plus 12, which makes a big difference, especially with things like boots. Look at Kyle here. His boots are 16 speed. Should we manage to get the boots to level 12, it should be in the 20 to 24 speed, and then when we get a high enough level to get to level 16, which is also 25, we can get to level 35, which that makes these boots really, really good. I think that's interesting is there's 2 things you fight at early game. Number 1 is maximum level, which I've already hit, and it keeps us from upgrading our artifacts any longer. And the other is campaign progression. So I have, in the last 24 hours, gotten into Godfrey's Crossing in the campaign. Now, the last couple of stages here are very difficult for your starting accounts, because they have very strong Force Affinity champions, and your starting champion, in my case Kyle, is Magic Affinity. So he hits them less hard and is highly likely to weak hit. They hit him harder, and so it's tough to progress here. But I got to Godfrey's Crossing on the 2nd day. I will say I am going to start farming the Deadlands a lot, because you want to try to get War Maiden as much as possible. She's really an exceptional champion because of her A3, which is an AoE, affects all enemies, decreased defense when booked as 100%. That puts the large version of decreased defense on your champions. So she has really 2 purposes. One is she's Force Affinity, so she makes up for the weak point that your starter champion has. And the other is the general use of defense down, which means your champions will hit a lot harder. So I have been farming the Deadlands quite a bit. I've gotten to 3 stars on part of it. I did manage to get a Berserker, who is, I think, a very underrated champion. If we come and look at him, Berserker. He's a Spirit Affinity champion. The important part is when ascended, his A3 ignores 20% of target's defense. So considering that, say, a Savage set is 25% of ignored defense, this is a pretty strong ability. And I think I will use Berserker in the future, but he's just not in my normal plan. The other things to be aware of is clicking back into the champion dialogue, is Kyle is at level 40. We have Rocktooth, who we got for clearing the, I think it's 5th level. I'm going to go check right now because you're with me. You get a guaranteed Rocktooth for clearing the 6th stage of Fellwind's Gate, which this is quite difficult for most starter accounts. It doesn't show it here, but there's a high number of Force Affinity champions, especially in stage 7. So it's hard to achieve this goal. As you can tell, I did it only with 1 star, not with 3 stars, so people died along the way. But the point is, you go to Fellwind's Gate, clear stage 7, which gives you the Rocktooth, who on his A3 has a decreased heal ability. And then that largely enables stage 8, the Valdemar Strait, because you'll get into stage 7, where there is nominally a Bad Alcazar, who is an awesome champion you can pull if you happen to get this champion. Like, it makes progression much easier. But the version of Bad Al here is Void Affinity, so you can't get a weak hit. And this is how I 3-starred this stage, is you take your Rocktooth from the Fellwind's Gate, because he has, I'm going to go click in on that. Rocktooth has a heal reduction on his A3, which is a sort of niche ability, but it's important when it's important, which counteracts the Bad Al ability of the dual continuous heals on his A3. So that makes beating this stage relatively easy. And then you can progress through the Deadlands. And like I said earlier, yes, you can get a Berserker who is a good attack champion and someone I'm going to work on and I will use. But the real goal about the Deadlands is getting Warmaiden. I have not gotten her to drop yet, but she is super, super strong for 2 reasons. Number 1 is the 100% chance of the large version of decreased defense on her A3. And the other reason is she is Void Affinity. She is Force Affinity compared to the Magic Affinity of your starter champion, who can be super, super strong in helping to bang out some of the progression levels. So over the next couple of hours, I'm going to continue to work on the Deadlands stages just for a few additional campaign stars. I will say working on your campaign stars is smart. You get some gems and some silver. If you're lucky to get a ring here you can use, it can be huge. But really the important point is soon you're going to have to make a decision on an early account. And that is, how do I use my gems? So I got 350 gems right now. You can unlock the gem mine starting at on or about level 20 or 22 for 500 gems. And that will give you a gem every almost 5 hours, 4 hours and 48 minutes. If you're going to play the game for more than about 2 or 3 months, this is a positive investment. Using the gems that you have saved up to unlock the gem mine will pay back in spades. If you're concerned about your ability to play for the long term, if you like the game, a better use of the first few hundred gems you have is to go into your starting champion, go to masteries, and buy all of your masteries with gems. Personally, I am going to unlock the gem mine with gems, at least for the first level, and probably work on masteries in the Minotaur dungeon. I'll say it makes sense for me, but I have to make sure that I have enough champions available in order to make that worth my time in terms of energy versus masteries maintained. The other thing to be concerned about in terms of gems use early on is both the market, which there are 2 columns of items, and the first column here requires gems to unlock. It's not a giant deal right now for me in my account, but you do have the possibility for 5 ancient shards per month from the market. And so it's possible that in this situation here that you'll get an ancient shard, say right here where the Taurus is for me. So for most accounts, you will want that ancient shard because it has the ability to get a very good champion, like a progression legendary or maybe an epic that is very, very specialized. So you want to unlock the various slots with your gems early on. For me, it's not as much of a deal just because I'm not pulling champions to demonstrate what's possible using only what is a guaranteed champion. The other thing to be concerned about with the use of your gems is the Guardian Ring. By default, you get your first slot open, and you can upgrade a second slot for 300 gems. Now, my plan on this account, because I assume I will be into it for, between 90 and 270 days, is to unlock all of these slots relatively early, just as a way of making additional food champions to upgrade the champions I'm going to use more rapidly. You can't always guarantee a steady flow of chickens. If you purchase the chickens, you can do that very, very well. This account isn't about that. So, for me, the Guardian Ring is a really good way to make a bunch of champions on a regular basis. If you're into maximizing your Guardian Ring output, you can make a new level 60 about every week to 2 weeks, depending on how advanced your account is, just by making uncommon champions into rare champions, into epic champions, and upgrading them into legendaries. So this is certainly a good way to increase the power of your account. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to grind. I'm level 24. I really want to get to level 25. At level 25, you unlock a huge power advantage, which is in one more level, I can go into Kyle or whoever your starting champion would be and upgrade their artifacts to level 25. Interesting, I would have thought. Let me see where this goes. You can get to level 12 at level 25, so fair point. I guess you can upgrade to level 11 at level 24. But getting to level 25 and being able to maximize your artifacts, especially for things like speed boots, is a big deal. The extra 18 speed you can get for this is very powerful and interesting. It will help you clear a lot of the campaign levels earlier than you otherwise would have expected. The other thing to mention here is that even 4-star gear is pretty marginal in terms of utility. Like it's generally said that 5-star gear is twice as good as 4-star gear, and 6-star gear is twice as good as 5-star gear, which is twice as good as 4-star gear. So, avoiding spending silver or otherwise using resources on 1, 2, or 3-star gear is wise. There are certainly some quests or missions that say, equip people with a gear of a given level, and using low-star gear in those situations is probably as smart as you can do, just to make sure that you get the benefits of completing the quest. And this is interesting. While it says here, I did not know this, is that you can't unlock the automatic upgrade to level 16 until your account level is 25. Apparently, you can unlock levels individually below that, and I don't know if that is a feature or a bug, but I'm gonna upgrade here. Is right now we've got 14% attack percentage and 1% hit point percentage on these speed boots. Now, it would have been way better for my account and for Kyle to get a crit rate, but even attack isn't bad. So I'm going to continue to upgrade this just because of the speed stat you get here. Like getting this to plus 35 speed is huge. And we'll let Kyle go before many of his other enemies, both in the campaign and in the arena. So we got to keep doing this, and I did not even realize this is a feature. Like I normally use the automatic upgrade, so because we haven't yet, this unlocks a lot of things for the lifesteal gear that comes with the Deliana chase. Get these 4-star items from the Deliana chase to level 16 as early as you can, because it's the easiest way you have to get to 4-star epic items, but stop after that and wait until you can get to 5-star items, and you'll have much better long-term account results. So let's upgrade this. It will give me 7 more speed. Let's see where we get in the substats. Crit rate would be the best substat. Actually, I take that back. You won't get any of these because it is epic. So it will be a new substat that is rolled here for the last bonus stat. Really, crit damage would be the best thing I could get, but we'll see how it goes. Like at this point, just because he's faster, I will be happy whatever we get, and I will continue to use this piece until I get a better one, which is, a fair bit down the road in terms of dragon. So while we're on the subject of the starting gear, I'll note that the lifesteal gear you get from the Deliana chase is very, very good. I'll click over there right now. I think that Plarium has put their thumb on the scales of Random Generator, in that I've always seen these boots be speed boots. These gloves, which I'll get tomorrow, are crit rate gloves, which are hugely important. Of course, this is a helmet, so it'll always be hit points, but the substats are good, as well as this shield has very good substats. So I would expect that I'm going to put Kael in these gloves and this helmet as soon as I get them, just because then he will get the benefits of having lifesteal gear and be much more durable. Deliana may or may not need it. I'm not sure, but we've got at least 2 pieces here. We might farm the rest up by the time we get to a place where we can get 4 or 5-star gear from the campaign. So I think a few of the other things to note here is that there are lots of missions that are available early on. Here's the one I'm stuck on, is number 28 out of the, I don't know, 150 and 60 would be 210, so almost 290 of getting the Arbiter. Do these as much as you can. You get good intermediate rewards and helps you generally progress your account. As well as these challenges, who I do a lot of, just because it tends to give energy, or like we see here, rare books when you complete a major part. And Kyle just needs them as much as he can in the beginning. Like, the whole point is to get your starter champion to 6-star and level 60 as fast as humanly possible. And everything else we do to there is an intermediate step. So at this point, Kyle is 4 stars and ascended 3 times. So his Acid Rains, who gets the extra crit chance, which is very good. And then we've got Rock Tooth, who we get from clearing Felon's Gap. I'm going to save him for a bit because of his Rabble skill, which places a 100% heal reduction. So he may be very useful in the Spirit Affinity Potion Dungeon. If your account either spends money or that you pull shards, you can probably get someone way better than Rocktooth, but I'm going to save him in the meantime, just in case I need him. And then the other chance I'm going to comment on right now is, I have not historically been a big fan of War Priest, and I have her in very bad gear, only ascended 4 times to create some quests, to satisfy some quests. But just the fact that she is Spirit Affinity makes her much better than I remember. She has helped Kyle get through many of the other things. Other campaign stages. And right now I have 1, 2 uncommon champions who are at 3 stars. So they can get to 4 stars soon. You get Elder from the Newbie Tournament. And then one of the other champions will be the 4th level 40 to get Kyle to 5-star or level 50. So, we're a little over halfway there. I will say my goal is to finish that tomorrow. And then we'll see where we will go in terms of what we're capable of conquering in the campaign. It'll be nice to get to either hard or brutal campaign, or just in order to generally have a more progressed account. The next 2 items, so certainly the crit rate 4-star gloves, I will put on him, and then whatever the next item is, that's some good lives to go. It will take Kale far in this game. And then we'll continue to build out the rest of my champions in order to get Kyle to 6 stars as soon as possible. Once we get Deliana, she will probably stay at 5-star for a bit. Like, she is a good complement champion for Kyle, but she is not as good as the legendary champion, probably for general use. And the other thing to be aware of after that is I've been pretty far into the Newbie Tournament myself. As you saw, Elder was already in my vault. I collected him at 500 points. I think 1,000 points is very achievable for someone who decides they want to make a dent in the game. Once the screen draws, I should be in the 600 or 700 point range. And as you see here, I've got 747 points just by doing everything. So I think for the Newbie Tournament, 1,000 points on this side to get the speed gear is very achievable. You may or may not win a prize up here. I don't know. That's not the important part. Really, the important part is to get speed gear. Even getting 1 or 2 items with a speed subset here would be huge. if one of the items happens to be speed boots with a speed main stat, like you'll use that for a long time on your account. So hopefully everyone who's been watching this can see the level of progression that we've made in a day and a half or 2 days with a demo account. I will say that at this point, we've got 2 ancient shards. For a new account or someone new to the game, I would expect you to pull these shards in the beginning for as soon as you can get them. You know, maybe get a food champion, maybe get an awesome legendary. It's hard to say. But I'm going to hold off on these just to show what's possible to progress with only guaranteed champions. But if you're going to pull shards, the general advice is to wait till ×2 events. I think if you're, early in the game, like before 2 weeks, you just want a champion that helps you progress. So pull the shards that you get, because you might get someone who's awesome, including like a Queen Ava, who is a great dungeon farmer, or any of the legendaries like a Bad Owl, which are really good progression champions. So, if you've pulled shards and you're not sure about how good your champion is, happy to answer questions about that. Leave a question in the comments from this video and I'll respond to it as soon as I can. But at the same time, I think I've done about as much as can be reasonably expected for a new account just because of game knowledge. So following this advice, again, will help you get your started champion, whoever it is, in my case it's Kyle, to level 60 as soon as possible. And that opens a lot of other doors. So I think that's really the way that Ray wants you to play the game. And if you're into it for the long term, that's what you should do as well. But if you have other questions, drop a like, ask a question in the comments. Happy to give my opinion on what you're doing, as well as potentially, make an account takeover or, help you make your account all that it can be and get you started strong in the Raid Shadow Legends game. So let me know what you think about this. I'm happy to take both constructive and critical criticism. This is Ezron signing off.